Hello friends, we are going to see about the X.509 version 3 of the public key certificate. Now as we have learnt in the X.509 part 1 of my video about the X.509 public key certificate version 1 and version 2. Now version 3 has some extensions that we need to study, and this version 2, as you know, you can see in this diagram. So version is the first field of the X.509 public key certificate. Now these X.509 public key certificates are based on the public key cryptography and the digital signatures. X.509 certificates, these are associated with the users, that is the users create some certificates or issue the certificates from the CA, and these are placed in the directory by the CA or by the other user. Now these are basically used to distribute the public keys to the author. So there are different versions like version 1. Version 1 ends with the subject public key information. Version 2 ends with the subject unique identifier and issuer unique identifier. Now version 3 of the X.509 certificate, it adds some extensions which are the optional contents. Now let us see about what is meant by the extensions here. And after all the versions are completed, or maybe the version after version 3 also, you have the signature component along with this. Why X.509 version 3? Since version 2 format does not convey all the information that design and implementation should have, and there are so many limitations of the version 2 and version 1. For example, here in this you can see these requirements are not certified by the version 2, like subject field is inadequate to convey the identity of the key owner. Identity of the key owner is not specified adequately. Maybe the names are very short, relatively short, and lack some of the identification details. Similarly, the subject field is inadequate for many applications which recognize entities by email address or URL. Now, the next thing that can be, it is necessary to indicate the security policy information. So security applications or functions such as IPsec has some X.509 certificate to give some certain policy. Now, the next thing that is, it is necessary to limit the damage that can result from the faulty or malicious certificate. So if there is any kind of damage, this is necessary by setting the constraints on the application of the certificate. So some constraints have to be applied. Next is, it should be necessary to identify the different keys which are used by the same users at different times. For example, the user may use it for the email purpose or some any other purpose in the IPsec, in the SSL, and so on. So some kind of thing which is called as a life cycle management of key life cycle management is necessary to update the key pairs. So these all things need to be specified by the X.509 certificate, which are not provided by the version 2, and therefore we are moving on towards the version 3 extensions. Now it consists of version 3 consists of different kind of extensions which are being defined. It is used in the email URL policy details and the usage constraints. It rather than explicitly naming new fields, its extension consists of extension identifier, ID of the extension, then criticality indicator, which is giving as true or false critical values. If the indicator has value of true and implementation does not recognize the extension, it must treat the certificate as invalid. Now this another thing, that is the extension values. So these three fields are the extension fields which are used in the X.509 version. Now let us see about these extensions one by one. The first one, that is the key and policy information. The next, there are three extensions which can be provided. That is, first is the key and policy information. Then the next one, it is related to the different names which is there. And the next one are the constraints. So first one, that is the key and policy information. Then subject and issuer names or issuer attributes. And the next one are the constraints which are being defined in the extension fields. Now starting with the key and policy information. So here in this case, key and policy information is based upon how we are going to convey the information about the, how it is going to convey the information about the subject and the usage of those particular keys, subject and issuer keys which are there. Now, these extension convey additional information about the keys plus indicators of the certificate policy. A certificate policy means what? It is the named set of rules which are being provided for applicability of the certificate. That is how the certificate can be used, that the rules are being provided, and some common security requirements, these are being provided in the policy. For example, the policy might be applicable to authentication of EDI, that is electronic data interchange transactions for trading of the goods. So every particular certificate must define a certificate policy. Now the key and policy information have following fields which can be indicated, which are indicated: authority key identifier, which is nothing but the identification of the public key used to verify the signature. Identity of the key which will be identifier of the authority key. Authority means verification of the certificate or CRL which is there. Now enables distinct keys of same CA to be differentiated. So if the keys of the same CA have to be differentiated, this particular field is being utilized, that is authority key identifier. Next is the subject public key identifier. Subject public key identifier, which is identifying the public key which is being certified. Public key of the subject which is being certified and used for the key pair updating of the subject key. Now subject may also have multiple key pairs, and depending upon that, different certificates are used for the different certificates, and therefore it is necessary to identify the subject's public key. Next is key usage. Key usage means what? For what purpose the key has been utilized, and the policies under which the certified public key is being used. So maybe you indicate one or more of the following. That is, it can be used for the digital signature creation, non-repudiation, key encryption, data encryption, etc. So CA signature verification and CA signature verification on CRLs, that all can be used in the key usage. Next is the private key usage. So private key usage means what? The period, it indicates the period of usage of private key. So private key is basically used over different period from the validity of the validity of the public key. So digital signature, for example, digital signature keys usage period for signing the private key is shorter than the verification of the public key. So signing private key time or usage period is shorter than that of the verification of the public key usage period. So therefore the private key usage period field is being defined. Next is the certificate policies. As I have given that every certificate should have this policy under which these are the rules are being defined for that particular certificate. So for certificate policy, this field may be used in the environments where multiple policies apply. This extension list policies that certificate is recognized as supporting together optional qualifier information. So optional information which can be provided, qualifier information can be provided in certificate policy. Next is the policy mapping. So policy are being mapped. Mapping of the policies is being carried out for allowing issuing CA to indicate that one or more issuers policies can be considered equivalent to another policy. So if one policy has to be mapped onto the another policy means what? The one policy is considered as equivalent to another policies. This is used in the certificate for CA issued by other CA. So in case of the cross certification, cross certificate which is being created from, that is CA issues the certificate to another CA, in that case policy mappings are used. So this is the extension related to the key and policy information. Now with respect to the subject and the issuer attributes. The second extension, which is called as, these support alternative names in alternative formats. Alternative names in alternative formats which are supported for certificate subject and for also for issuer. So names are being provided, alternative formats are being provided for the subject also and for the issuer also. For example, the extension field consists of subject alternative name, that is, one or more alternative name can be used in variety of forms. For example, in certain applications such as it is used in email or in IPsec or in any other application like EDA. Next is the issuer alternative name, which is having one or more alternative name in alternative forms or variety of forms for the issuer. Issuer names are being provided. Next is the subject directory attributes. Now this is conveying the desired attribute values for the subject of the certificate. Desired values are being provided in the directory attributes. So this is the second extension. Now with respect to the third extension fields which are there, that are related to the certificate path extents. Now what are the path extents, which are nothing but to allow constraints on the use of the certificate issued for CS by another CS. So in case of the cross certifications, these are being provided constraint specification issued for CS by the other CS. So these constraints may restrict the type of the certificates which are being used. The extensions in this area include the first one, that is basic constraint. The basic constraints mean, which tells you that the subject may act as a CA. That is, the certificate path length constraint may be specified. So certifying path has to be provided in which the subject may act as a CA. Next is the name constraints. So name constraints indicate the namespace within which all subject names in the certificates in the certification path must be located. So within which the namespace within which the subject names may be located in that particular certification path. So that is called as a name constraint. Then the policy constraints means what? That is, it specifies the constraints that may require explicit certificate policy identification. So if you want explicit to provide explicitly policy identification, in that case you are going to use the policy constraint. Or maybe you require the policy mapping for the certification path. In that case also you are going to use the policy. So there are three things, constraints in this: basic constraint where subject may act as a CA, name constraint wherein namespace within which the subject names may be located, and the policy constraints in which the policy identification is being carried out. So these are the version 3 extensions of the certificate. So this is an example of the certificate which is consisting of this is an example format of the certificate version 3. So it can be given as signature serial number. Version 3 it is giving, and the serial number is being provided. After that, signature algorithm, which is MD5 with RSA. Validity, that is validity period before and after dates or expire, which is related to the validity period. Then the subject name, then the subject public key information which is being provided. So all this is a example of the certificate. So this is one example. So let us summarize that we have certificate, we have 3 versions of the certificate, in which in this video we have learned about the different extension of the certificate. I hope that you have understood this video.